All right.
Dr.
Fantastic.
And this is Jessie, my oldest kitty cat.
Your pussycat.
She always likes to be in the middle of attention.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh. So,
hello.
I'm also known as the burnout expert because I help people avoid burnout and also to bounce back from burnout. And tell me a little bit about yourself, Catherine.
All right. Well, so where do we start? I love pussycats. I love your kitty cat.
How long have you been a healer for?
How long have I been a healer? Well, that's an interesting question. I've been a psychotherapist since 78. And I've been in my own business since 98. That's when I started my spiritual psychotherapy, which is called Radical Awakening.
Oh, yeah. I'm very interested in hearing about that.
Yeah. Love to tell you about that. So Radical Awakening is, it's a process of coming into a greater level of awareness.
Yeah.
Okay. And we sit in a meditative state. And what we do is we get really quiet and breathe deeply, and we bring in that presence of who we are through an issue that someone brings to the session. And so once we've heard about this issue in full, and the person's had a chance to really get into, mostly it's the pain and suffering of it, you know, because that's why clients come to psychotherapy, is really because they're in some kind of pain, or they're worried, or they're anxious, or, you know, they have a level of fear. And so what we do is we move straight into where in the body are they feeling this?
Yeah.
And so once we go there, we speak to that part, and we ask it what it wants for the client. And you'd be amazed to hear all the things that it wants for the client. And at the bottom of it all are the core presence words, like joy, like peace, like equanimity, fulfillment, you know, whatever it is, everyone has a word for it.
Yes, yes.
Sorry?
I'm very surprised that what you describe is something that I trained into, but we call it the journey.
Oh, really? Oh, yes, I've heard of the journey. Yes.
And that's a very similar where you ask where in the body are you feeling this, and what is the message and connection with source, and then you get in the bottom, when you fall through all of the layers of emotions, then you come to your essence, which is joy and love and peace and limitlessness. So that is when you have that feeling of awakening, right? When you actually experience that you don't have, well, when you experienced the part of you that doesn't die, that's not really, that lives on after your body stops working, basically, the limitlessness, the connection to God or source or the universe, whatever you call it. So yeah, I'm very aware of it because I use that a lot. I mean, I trained as a medical doctor and as a coach, but once I found the journey, I really thought like I have all the puzzle pieces together, because I can do surgery on people, I do spiritual healing, but the missing piece in the middle was the emotional healing, and getting the emotions to talk to you, what needs to be healed here, and what's the message. I love that. How long does a session take when you do it?
I'm sorry?
How long do your sessions take? So it's one-on-one?
Yes, it's one-on-one, and it depends on the individual. Some people who come are meditators, and you know, usually it is a meditator. If it's not a meditator, it'll take up to 2 hours or many more sessions. If it is a meditator, it's usually about 2 hours.
Yeah, it's the same with what we do.
At that point, they reach a point of of awareness. They're awakened to this beautiful feeling that they've never felt before. They have felt it in different places, actually, but they're not aware that they felt it and that they can be that as much as they want to be, basically. And it's their choice.
Yes.
And so once they feel that, we do meditation to ground them into that feeling. And then they know how to do it the next time. Because what happens is they leave the session and it's great for, a week, 2, whatever it is. It could be a month. And then something happens to just knock them out and, lose touch with that feeling of full awareness that they are and that we all are. And that's actually how we're all one. That's actually how we connect to each other through our breath, through that feeling of joy, peace, love, whatever you want to call it, equanimity, the Buddhists call it. And so then we learn how to get back there. So that, if you have the tools to get back there, then you can do it in the middle of a crisis.
Absolutely. So how did you change from being, I guess you trained as a traditional psychotherapist, and when did you start doing this kind of work? How did you discover it?
What a wonderful question. Thank you for asking that. I was working for Ministry of Health, pretty wonderful job, looking after 45 addictions treatment agencies. And, discussing with CEOs, their project plans, their budgets, and so on. So I love the job. But something inside me said, there's more. Because I'm a very spiritual person and have been since, for a long time. Never had any religion, but very spiritual. And so a friend of mine said, let's go down to Los Angeles and let's go to this person called Ramana and go to what's called a Bodhisattva training. 2-week process in August 1998. We went together and we were both awakened in this experience and never the same again. In September, I left my job and I said, okay, I'm going to bring this awareness to everyone. And the reason for that is that way back in 1991, I had heard a radio show on my way to Buffalo. I visit my son in Buffalo, sit listening to the radio, and Doug Henning came on, who's a teacher he's a magician whose teacher is Mahesh Yogi. And they were working on a huge theme park. And this theme park was going to awaken the awareness of, as many people as they could get to a level of, you've heard of the 100th monkey effect. You've heard of what it takes for a critical mass of people to have that level of awareness so that they can influence the world to have all the awareness that, we all need to lift us all up to a place of peace. And this is what had been on my mind since 1991. We've been having World Peace Festivals at High Park, to create that level of awareness. And I needed to move myself even higher. And so this awakening in 1998 really led to that. And I wanted to bring a greater level of awareness out into the world, one person at a time, if possible, groups. But so far, it's been one person at a time.
That's awesome. Wow. And so do you need like one person per 100 to influence 100 people? Is that the figure, more or less? To raise the vibration of our society, do you need one person amongst 100 monkeys?
What a wonderful question. I love that. Somebody asked Eckhart Tolle, how many people does it take to save the world? And he said one person. But according to And that's because we're all linked, you know.
Yeah.
So if that person's vibration is enough to be that critical mass, then that person alone could do it. However, we find out that really, because there are over 7 billion of us, it takes 5%, anywhere between 1 and 5%, people have guessed, to make up that critical mass, which is called the 100th monkey effect. You know the story about the 100th monkey?
Not really. Can you tell me?
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. Yeah. A group of scientists were doing a study in Japan, the islands of Japan, and they noticed that the monkeys were washing their yams in the water. Actually, before that, they noticed they were eating their yams dirty. And then one monkey took its yam after it fell in the water and ate it. And it went, oh, wow, this is really great. You know, I like it washed. So after that, the monkeys followed suit, and they all started washing their monkeys. Now, they all started washing their yams.
Yeah.
Now, when there were enough monkeys who learned to wash their yams on that one particular island, they noticed that the islands around them in Japan were also the monkeys were also washing the yams. So the monkey consciousness took hold, and they all started washing their yams, and that's the critical mass. They gathered, it was about 100 monkeys that were needed to attain this.
Wow, that is a really cool study. I mean, I believe in it, but I never knew that actually had some form of a scientific study that shows this effect. That's great.
We can Google it.
Yeah, even like, I also like the scientists that have proven the connections between all the trees and how they found like that trees have a very slow heartbeat. That's why we've never heard it, because it's very, very slow.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're also connected, they communicate. I mean, I knew this from a long time already, that if one tree gets ill, that's out of the forest, the other trees will also start losing their leaves and stuff like that. But more and more, because science becomes more delicate, we can pick up on more things that were considered maybe supernatural or something, because you couldn't prove it. A lot of science people want proof that they can see, but now we have finally found equipment, so we can see things. We can measure vibrations, for instance, of people and objects. And I mean, that's why I love science as well as being very spiritual, because they're coming closer together. Which actually, I don't know whether you know this book that I wrote, My Surgeon Talks to Angels. It's a journey from science to faith.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, usually it's the other way around, isn't it?
Wow, thanks for sharing that.
That's me.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I love my angels too. I love the angelic kingdom. Yeah. You know, in the morning with my meditation, after each meditation, I bring in the angelic body. I don't know if you've heard of the angelic body and the angelic kingdom that download their angelic body to us, and it's such a wonderful feeling. I love it.
Yes. I often work with angels every day. Like, I ask them to make my day go smooth. So that this is one of the courses that I teach, is how to make every day joyful with the help of your angels. Joyful and easy, because I send them like ahead of me to make sure there's like no traffic problems, and only patients that I can help, and you know, that are the right match for me. So if I do that, my day goes very smooth. If I forget to do that, then I arrive and I think like, oh no, I forgot to send my angels ahead, and then everything is so much harder, and like there's a lot of stop and start and obstacles that have not been removed that day. So yeah,
Wonderful.
it's one of the things I teach people also, to be very productive in your day, because I kind of visualize, I mean, I kind of prepare my where I want to go that day, that all the obstacles have been removed.
Yes, absolutely. Which ones are your angels? Do you have particular ones?
Um, I have
Lots
worked
of
with a lot of different ones during my life, and I think some of them have already shifted. I know that our guardian angels always stay with us, but
yes.
when I was mainly during medicine, it was very much Archangel Raphael and very much Archangel Michael, because I often was because I'm very adventurous, so I often needed help and protection. But lately it has changed. It's something else. It's like more the lighter art, creative art, yeah, more gentle angels. I feel like I'm less in that energy of having to fight for everything. Like everything is,
Ah,
something has changed in my environment.
more
Um,
creative.
it's about time after 50 years of struggle.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow, that's beautiful.
Mhm. So yeah, I'm mainly I feel things like when I feel what is happening in my environment. I feel the vibrations of even furniture, the feeling in the room, and what's happening with my clients or my patients. There's a lot of things that I feel, and sometimes when I do a similar process as what you do, and they get stuck, then because they have a fear of feeling their negative emotions usually, or they just don't want to go there. Then I ask for that quietly. I ask for their angels to come in and support them, and sometimes like I fill the whole room with angels to make people relax and like let
Right.
go, because then the vibe changes straight away. Even when I do surgery, I sometimes, if the patients are very anxious, I just in my head just ask angels to fill the room, and then usually the patient relaxes and falls asleep during the surgery. So
Right.
it's a wonderful tool to have.
Yes, absolutely. I loved your story in the book that we were in together. Success Starts Today.
Okay, yeah.
I love that story that you wrote on burnout.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was a wonderful story, and it really reminded me of when I was looking after my children and working at the same time with the Ministry of Health, and
Mm.
how burnt out I got.
Mm.
So I guess the angels came to rescue you from that burnout.
Well, yes, I was that weak, and that I had to take time off and leave my job and everything, and then really have time to find a solution how I could climb back out of that very deep hole of no energy, no sleep, worrying, low mood, you know. So it was such a negative place to be in. And I think the main thing was that at that stage in my life, I still believed what I was taught as a child, is that you have to be perfect at everything. And even my husband didn't want to ask for help, like with childcare or something. He said, "No, we have kids. We have to do everything ourselves for our kids. We don't accept anybody else to help. We have to do everything ourselves, and it has to be perfect." And I thought, like, there's not enough hours in the day to keep a house clean when you have a small child and be perfect at everything else. And of course, the time that you usually spend at self-care now goes in taking care of your child. So your whole body starts falling apart because you don't feed yourself properly anymore, and you don't exercise anymore, you don't rest enough anymore, you don't pamper yourself, so you're just running on empty. You don't have time to put more petrol in and to recharge. So I think this is so important. I wish I could help more professional women who have children to prepare themselves and have that whole realize, you don't have to be perfect at everything. You don't have to, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to accept support and help from other people. It's okay to put yourself first and your self-care first. A lot of women don't do that. They always give at work and at home, and then there's no time left for themselves. So yeah, I mean, for some people it sounds really selfish, but I think as you grow more toward, I think this is the truth, that we owe it to ourselves to take good care of ourselves. Because if we run on empty, then we can't take care of anybody anymore. Then we are useless, you know, in our environment. If you like, I couldn't walk anymore, so I couldn't see that many patients anymore. I couldn't even go down the stairs to pick up my baby when he was crying because I couldn't do the steps anymore. So I mean, that's really stupid that I've done that, but I wasn't aware. And of course, this happened for a reason, because thanks to experiencing these things myself, I'm very aware at recognizing it in others, and that's why I'm on this mission to help as many people as possible avoid burnout. And that's why I also teach like the ways to boost your energy. Time management is very important for young parents, and emotional healing. We already spoke about it. And then maybe it's a time to reassess whether you want to do something else with your life also. So I do life purpose readings also. So yeah. I mean, these things happen for a reason. If I wouldn't have gone through it, I would not have created the solution and the program. So yeah. Plus,
Yeah.
it makes me a better doctor that I have, because I have been a patient, and most of the allopathic doctors couldn't diagnose me or treat me. So I became very cynical for a while. I stepped outside of medicine, and that's why I explored all of the other options and alternatives. And I put everything together now, so I know both sides of the coin, the allopathic medicine and the alternative medicine, or now it's integrative medicine, and that's what I'm doing at the moment. More
Right.
specifically with my eye patients. So I call myself an integrative ophthalmologist. So
Right.
I can give them advice on lifestyle, foods, even emotional healing and all of that, career change, which is, I don't know any other ophthalmologist who would do that.
Yes. Yes. True. True.
And where are you situated in the world, Catherine, and how can people contact you?
I'm in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I have a website, www.energyawakening.com.
I'm gonna,
Energyawakening.com.
yeah,
And
my
on
phone.
that website, it talks about my spiritual psychotherapy, my radical awakening process, as well as the Kundalini Yoga training that I give. I teach Kundalini Yoga, and
Wow,
both of them really lead to a greater level of awareness. So the
yes.
highlight of Kundalini Yoga is the yoga of awareness. It's also the yoga of angles and triangles. You know, when we sit in an easy pose, we sit like a pyramid and we draw in the energy. So we attain a greater level of awareness. The higher our vibration, the higher our level of awareness. And so that yoga practice really, since I've been doing for, I'd say about 35 years, a long time. And I started with Hatha yoga. But about 4 years later, I started doing Kundalini, and I've been doing Kundalini yoga ever since. It's a more intense yoga and a more difficult yoga, but it has a lot more breath work. You know, breath is what leads us into a greater level of awareness. That is the easiest way to become aware. So if we each did like 5 or 10 minutes a day, morning and night, of long, deep breathing, then we would open up to a level of awareness. We begin to reduce the level of dross in our bodies, the level of junk. Dross is just pent up energies. It's stuff that we get rid of through our lymphatic glands. It's stuff that we get rid of through our bronchioles, or through our breathing. You know, so we need to release the apana, is the energy that's depleted of life force energy, and we bring in the prana, also known as chi, into the body. And so the more prana, the more chi we bring into our bodies, the greater level of awareness. And when we go into the radical awakening process, we begin by breathing. So we do some long, deep breathing to become more quiet, to become more still. And really also in that still state, we enter into that place of whatever we call the core. And then, it's much easier to jump into an awakened state from that stillness.
Mm. Oh, wow. So do you actually, I would love to do some of that yoga with you. I thought I knew Kundalini Yoga, but I've done the Hatha Yoga, and then of course I do the yoga in the gym. But with the Kundalini, I used to just like imagine that energy going up my spine and then coming down, and with the breath, like making it circle. Is that
Yes.
similar? But you actually do like poses also when you're doing
Yes,
it?
absolutely. Absolutely. It's really in Kundalini Yoga, we have about 5,000 sets. Someone's guessed that. Yogi Bhajan, who brought Kundalini Yoga to the West, said, oh, there's probably 5,000 sets. Like in
Wow.
Hatha Yoga, you make your own sets, meaning sets of postures, putting them together. And then that is, what you're doing for the particular session. Usually the sessions are an hour and a half. And throughout those postures, you do breath work, you do mental focus. So there's a mental focus either at the brow point, which is your sixth chakra, Ajna center, or there's so many other chakras and points of mental focus, your chin, the tip of your nose, your navel center. There are many more chakras, by the way, than 7, but we deal with the major 7. And in the world, but in Kundalini Yoga, we deal with a whole lot more. So all of this, plus the postures, the breath work, the mental focus, the postures, all bring us to a state of higher awareness. Within the postures, we do what's called, well, all the postures, including spinal flex. Spinal flex, I don't know if you know spinal flexes, but they rub, like the base of the spine. They open your heart. So both of these areas lend you to working with that Kundalini in your body and bringing it all the way up and around. Okay, particularly when you're bringing it up, first of all, from the base of the spine. But, you don't really bring that to every session in the sense that okay, I'm working on bringing up my Kundalini. That's given. That's given with, all of it together. And depending on the person, some people come in with their Kundalini already risen. Some people take a lifetime. Other people take several lifetimes. So, it depends on the person. But there's still a level of awareness that people who are trained in Kundalini Yoga have that is always increased. So the Kundalini's part of it, but it's also the clarity, the purity of the body. It's the clarity of the each chakra, the meridian points, so everything needs to work together to make that Kundalini rising happen.
Wow. Yeah, because my experience was like of feeling very energized. So I think when people struggle with energy, there's often blocks somewhere in the body and where the energy is not going all the way upright. And do you think, exercise can help? Well, I'm sure your yoga poses are more complex than just exercise, but I think any movement you do is better than not moving at all for your body. So I'm not a yoga expert whatsoever, and I love yoga. But what I was trying to say is, do you think it actually starts with an emotional block that then creates a physical block when their energy can't flow well, or what is the reason that some people's energy doesn't flow well? Or Kundalini doesn't rise? Well, do you have any experience if you see the difference between people who do it and other people who can't do it yet?
That's a great question, and that's a great mystery.
Okay.
There is no how to, there's no where or why for. We live as a co-creation of the universe, the source, the God, whatever it is for you that you call yourself. You know, you were talking earlier about being selfish, and really, we can only love others through loving ourselves. So if we're not selfish, then we can't love anybody else. And that self that we are is our God, God's self. It's our God self as well as our ego mind. And the two have to work as an integration. So it's not just, you know, one telling the other what to do. They work together as a whole. And when we can do that, we can link with others as wholes as well, or even just noticing that there is a God self in everyone. If everyone did just that, realize that they were a spark of God, a magnificent light being, and saw that spark in every person they meet, then we could have peace in this world. That's the only thing. That's our similarity. The differences are just clothing. They're just, you know, nothing as, you know, like each one of our egos is like a grain of sand. They're not, how big is a grain of sand compared to the universe, right?
Absolutely.
So when we're selfish in the sense of being that whole universe, not that grain of sand. When we integrate that, then that grain of sand awakens to this wonder that it is, that co-creation that it is with our creator.
Wow. You explain it very well. Yeah, I like that.
Thank you.
Do you sometimes do any group events or online events that people can attend?
You know, I would love to do that. That is really my intention. And I would love to do that. I haven't, but that is what I'm moving into. You know, what's been stopping me up until now is the little me. Okay. My ego saying, oh, there are not enough people in the world to do this. There are not enough people in my community. You know, there's some people say that, oh, this is ahead of our time, that really people prefer to remain in their stories rather than to be awakened and, you know, be a part of the whole. They prefer to live in their communities. They prefer to live in their families, you know, so I'd love to believe that that's not true. That
I know a lot of people are not like that. So I can introduce you to some other crowds.
Yeah, I'd love that.
And actually, because I was thinking to do an angel retreat on a Greek island next summer, European summer.
Where?
Which is the same on a Greek island.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah, it's a place where I've been before when I was writing my book, because writers meet there every year to start writing a book. And I thought like I would take some time before or after to do an angel retreat, so some of the people who are there can take part. And then I also need people like you who can do the physical experience, for instance. I mean, I would like to come together with several people that are on a similar mission to awaken people and lift their vibration, and then do that together. So you each probably know 5 people or something. If you have 20 in total attendees, that's already a lot for a small island, because you have to start small first before you can, you know, extend, because the first time you still have to like make sure everything goes smooth. So yeah,
totally
that was just
agree with you. I'm in. Yes. Absolutely. Sounds like a great plan.
Yeah. So if you can make yourself free for a week or something,
Sure.
it's a a beautiful opportunity to see something new, and it's so relaxing there. Time stands still. There's not much internet and stuff like that. There's not even many cars.
Hey.
You can walk everywhere, and yeah, so it's like, for me it was blissful when I was there, because it was just so nice and quiet, and yeah, just getting away from all the busyness and just writing and being, and it was lovely. So yeah, that's one of my dreams that popped up today, so maybe we need to work together on that.
Sure. Sounds great, Dr. V.
Okay, so I think we've discussed a lot of things. We've spoken about your radical awakening process, how you also train people to do Kundalini Yoga, and this involves long, deep breathing. I loved how you explained that the deep breathing helps to get all of the, you call it dross, out of your body, which is pent up negative energy somehow. And it's true, any movement will flush out your lymphatics and stuff also, and the breathing helps with that also. You spoke about bringing in prana or chi, and how this gives you more mental focus and higher awareness. And so that's a lot of things that we covered. So is there anything else you want to add?
Okay, well, I'd like to mention that I have an upcoming book that I'm looking to have published.
Yeah.
And it'll be called something like, the working title right now is called The Universal Principles for Creative Living.
Wow, that sounds good.
And so there are 7 principles. I mean, some people say there are many more, but there are at least 7 principles, which I call universal. And they will be in this book, and as will attaining the present moment. So that process of radical awakening will be in there as well.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to reading that one.
Thank you.
So yeah, when will that be out? You can send me a message when it's available. I'll definitely read that one.
Well, I've self-published it. I have the manuscript, so now I'm just looking for a publisher and distributor at the moment. So I have a couple of ideas. If you have some more, let me know. So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Are you selling the digital version on Amazon?
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to have the digital version, and I was also thinking of it as an audiobook.
Yeah,
I'd love
absolutely.
to read it.
Yeah, a lot of people listen to books while they're driving and things. Yeah, so is the digital version already available for me to get?
Not yet, not yet. Because I'm waiting for a publisher. I don't want to give it out before I have a publisher and a distributor, and then I will certainly release it, yes.
Okay, because I went to the Hay House Writers event, and there they said, try and sell your book as much as possible on your own. When we see which books are selling well, then they will offer you a publishing contract. So basically, they want you to go out on your own already, plus have a lot of social media followers. I mean, because a big company like Hay House, they only take on 1 new writer a year, and they do a competition every year. And for the rest, they look at who is doing well, who's already famous, and then they will offer to work with them. So it's hard to find. I mean, you can, of course, find your own publisher. It sounds like an amazing book. Yeah. I mean, I'm not taking away the hope, but I'm not sure whether you really have to not have it on Amazon while you wait for a publisher. I'm not sure whether that's necessary.
A great idea. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. V. I will look into that too. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. So I would like to end here, and thank you very much for talking to me. That was so interesting. It might stimulate, especially if I can have your book. I would love to write a blog post also, like based on what you told me today. And I'm available if anybody wants to contact me at www.burnoutexpert.co.uk, because at the moment I'm living in the UK. And I have another website which is based on my book title, my Search Dogs to Angels.com. That's for people who are interested in doing the angel retreat. We have to think about the name that works for both of us. The radical angel awakening process. So maybe people who see this video and are interested in joining us for a week on a Greek island can maybe contact you or me. We're also probably, you can find us on social media and on our website, right?
Absolutely. Thank you very, very much. And if people, you've taken my information already, www.energyawakening.com.
Yeah.
I have written one little book called Connecting with Present Moment, and also Success Starts Today with Jack Canfield. And please feel free to contact me through either of those sources, particularly through my website and or my email, ccawaken@ca.inter.net, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Would love to hear from you. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. V. I so appreciate talking with you, and it was so interesting just hearing about your angels and your stories. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. It was lots of fun, and stay in touch. And I'm going to have a relaxing Sunday evening now.
Yes, enjoy your Sunday evening. All right. I will as well. Thank you so much. Have a great, enjoy your kids.
Yes.
And your kitty cat.
Finally. Yeah. So,
Still here?